I can ask Brother Moore something, because while you're off, he just made a point. Whenever the government get a choice between y'all on Baintown and Camp Road and that fellow with building on Paradise Island on Cable Beach, y'all gonna lose every time. But I can call him back. But just before we go forward, I just want you to focus on the image of justice that's in front of this table here in front of me. The image of Mat. Mat is the Kemetan or Egyptian goddess of justice. And she'd measure the souls of the dead with a feather. Now it's symbolic because Mat is the most ancient representation of justice, Brother Moss, and I just wanted to focus on that. And I also want you, members of the Congress and those who are not members of the Congress, to log into our website. It's bpancliberation.ning.com. We'll post the links for you. Go on the website. It's a wealth of material, and you know it's growing every day. It takes hours to go through what we've assembled on the website, and we're continually upgrading it. So a lot of the discussions we have today, we're going to be following them up on that website. But Brother Morris, coming back to an image of justice that, because I think what we were talking before the break was we following this path of servicing the interests of our former slave masters, yes, and overlords, and our ancestors who were in bondage and slavery, turning over in their graves now because we, their ancestors, with a constitution that says we'll never be slaves again, and bondsmen. Our prime minister's really serving the slave masters rather than the victims?
Well, I don't know whether he's doing it, and when I say that, I can speak for all of them, but they would have done it, you know, consciously. I believe that the evidence is there to show that we have had any number of developments in our country touristically and by foreign investors. But you look at our hospital, we have not had one in 50, 60 years.
Oh, it's horrible, eh?
Yeah, and so we see people dying, yeah, daily because, yeah, of the lack of health care. We're not even interested in putting in a care system for our people. You look at our schools, you look at Bailey, you look at these places that have been around for such a long time. I mean, our kids have to go in the classrooms without air conditioning. It's the most serious thing, a difficulty in learning. You know, we do not demonstrate, in many respects, the same care and due diligence as we do for those who are guests in our shores or those who come to invest in our shores. And so I think even though they may not do it consciously, the evidence will show that subconsciously that is what in fact is
you know, in one of our shows that you know, has been playing over and over because we've had technical difficulties with our previous shows, by the way. But that show, Dr. A.J. Varma, he makes, and his wife, Lindsay Morris, I think she makes the point that this system works by itself now. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The slave system of slavery that has us in this mental condition was created during the time of slavery.
Yes.
You don't really have to have somebody behind the wheel turn it, and now we turn it ourselves.
It's on automatic.
So maybe our leadership needs some serious decolonialization and improvement of their minds. They need to read. Mr. Prime Minister, please read this. Get yourself a copy. See what's happening in the United States. See how black people suffering over there. Please. Because you when you go to shake hands with Mr. Obama, you got to know what's happening in his country. He probably won't tell you. So, sorry, Brother Paul. You know, I love the Prime Minister, you know. I know he's watching us.
He's our Prime
Especially
Minister.
now we got you on the show, and I think you're hitting something really relevant. But, you know, Paul, coming back to our system of governments, the Westminster system, this monarchy, what are your opinions about moving towards a republic?
Oh, I think it's a must.
Okay.
Oh, it's critical.
You sound like a Rasta man. When you go to locks.
I'm not a Rasta man, but it is a must.
Okay.
It is critical.
Okay.
Let me say this, right? We have we have institutions here that have not been even developed for us.
Okay.
It's something that's been given to us.
Yeah.
And now we are expected to, this is why our country, I believe, in many ways, has so much problem, because we have systems that do not work for us. It doesn't work.
Why do you think we don't have the confidence to do for ourselves?
No, we could do it. I think it's a mindset. I think once the generations come, we would then make those changes. And I think that change is now upon us, because our generation is coming forward to say, look, we cannot any
It's more
longer.
like you?
Yes.
In your generation?
Oh yeah, there are thousands of us. Because
You serious?
yes, they are.
Okay.
We have a constitution.
I believe you.
I think it's around Article 66 or thereabouts, I'm not sure, where there are the oaths that public officials swear. And it's the most incredible thing for Bahamians to receive, because we don't even teach our Constitution. But when you read the oath even done by our Prime Minister, by ministers of the Cabinet, will say, or members of the Cabinet, will give their allegiance to the Queen, her heirs and successors.
But that's why Ryan never want to get in politics.
Well,
I
see,
can't bow to her.
no, you can't bow, but see, we must get there in order to change it.
So, I mean, how, for me as a Rasta man now, how could I go there and say, man, I don't take oath, but I promise to be faithful to the Queen when I trying to get rid of her?
Yeah.
I mean, I won't lie. I can say, well, you know, I really want to get rid of you, but until I get rid of you, I can be faithful to you. I can say that.
Yeah.
But I can't say I can be faithful, and that oath said you can be faithful.
But this is some of the things that we must change.
Yeah.
And we must have those persons who are prepared to get inside there, as I am,
Okay.
to make those changes. But I think it's a discredit and it's a disservice to Bahamians and the Bahamians to come when we are 5,000 miles away from a monarchy that really has not graced these shores, doesn't really know where Baintown is.
But you and the PLP, what is the position of the PLP on the issue of a republic?
Well, I think their position is that they'll continue as things are.
They're not for a republic.
As far as not as I'm.
But is there support in the PLP for a republic?
Well, I think that as more young persons come into the party, the support will grow.
What about the FNM? You see any support for republic?
I think it could be safe to say that both parties would have the similar thoughts, because we have leaders from the same generation, the generation really that's going to continue on with this monarchy, and the bowing to the mace and all that stuff. But there's a generation coming.
But you see, you still have Mr. Paul Ladley. I mean, he's